How's it going, everybody? We are here at Volcano Bay because this is the best water park here in Orlando, Florida. There is so much to do. It is such an awesome time here, but it is a little confusing. So today, we're gonna go over some tips and tricks on how to have the perfect day at Volcano Bay. Now, one of the first things that will happen when you walk into Volcano Bay is you are going to be greeted with a tapu tapu. Now, this is going to be basically your ticket to the rides as you are kind of navigating the park. You're going to head around, you're going to scan into each and every single ride out there, and that is going to give you access, again, through the tapu tapu system. We'll go over it a little bit, but first things first, pick up your tapu tapu and find a seat. That is the first thing you've got to do. Get a nice seat. Now, when you're heading around, one thing to keep in mind are the locker locations. When you walk in directly to the left, over by the Waterpark Marketplace, there are some lockers over that direction. So getting some seats right up front isn't a bad idea, but that tends to be one of the most crowded areas. So what we like to do is we actually like to head around a little bit and try and head over to the next set of lockers and then go out in front. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is always to have your lockers close to where your seats are. There we go. We have chosen our spot right over here. We are right to the right of the volcano. We actually did a video right up there in that corner cabana. If you guys are interested in checking out what a cabana is like here, very, very cool experience. If you have the ability to do so, I highly recommend it. I do know it is a little bit pricier, but it was so awesome. But either way, yeah, here is our location right here. And thankfully, right behind Nicole, the lockers are just right on the other side. Now again, where you choose your spot is up to you. That's the beautiful part. There are so many seats here at Volcano Bay. You can really choose anywhere. If you want to be near the volcano, you can do that. If you want to be off the beaten path, you can do that. That is the best part. It is a beautiful park. Any spot that you get is going to have fantastic views. So I highly recommend taking a lap if you want and then choosing your spot. But again, the big two things, getting that tapu tapu and getting your seats. Now, when renting a locker, they are paid, just so you guys are aware. So they'll explain how to use them and how to reopen them. But first things first is you're gonna go ahead and tap. It's $20 to go ahead and do it. So you would use your tapu tapu pay if you have that. Otherwise, you have to insert your credit card. So there are three sizes.
Family size.
Oh, the family's on the, okay, so there's not many of the family from what I see. But regular is pretty much the most common. Then you have this smaller size there. But either way, $20 gets you this size here. It is pretty dang big. You know, I can fit my backpack in the small ones. So, you know, if you have a backpack or something, I think this would be plenty. Now that we have our locker and we have our seats, got our tapu tapu, the next thing to do would be to get checked into a ride. Now, my best suggestion would be for the Krakatoa water coaster because that is the longest wait in the parks always. It just tends to be 3+ hours a lot of times, especially if you are not here first thing in the morning, you will be waiting quite a while. So I would highly recommend getting that one first. I know that it kind of stinks that you're not gonna be riding a ton of rides right away because you're gonna be waiting for that one, but I do think it is worth it. Krakatoa is such an awesome coaster, so I would highly recommend, again, checking in to Krakatoa, or at least first thing first is just get checked in to a ride to get that time ticking down. Let's see if we can get this to work here. Another fun little thing you can do is scan to make things interact out on the rivers here. So I think it's that one. I'm not too sure. It goes green. Oh yeah, so we can turn it off. And then if we do it again, we turn it back on. It's that right there. We get to control how people get wet. Now we are over here at the Oh No and Oh Yeah slides, but I do want to talk a little bit about swapping your time. So people don't know that you actually can scan into something and swap it over, but they give you a confirmation. So we'll show you right now, we are checked into the Oh No slide, but if you come over here to the Oh Yeah slide, we'll go ahead and check in. So if you scan, it'll actually tell you, do you want to keep your time or do you want to switch to the new one? So we could keep our Oh No, or we could swap over to the Oh Yeah, but we're gonna keep the Oh No. We like to do this slide here, so we're just gonna go ahead and click keep, and now we keep our reservation. So maybe you accidentally click in and you say, I don't know if I really wanted to do that. It doesn't just automatically override, you still have to confirm it either way. So make sure that you guys do understand you can swap between rides. You are not locked in if you decide you want to swap things up throughout the day. Over here at Waterpark Beach, you do need to come out here at some point and hang out by the volcano because this is kind of a wave pool. It's not your traditional wave pool where there are giant waves that come crashing, but every so often and you're gonna get these chants and you're gonna come out and hang out, and it's just a blast as everybody is kind of clapping, laughing, having a good time, and they just keep pulsing these waves out over and over and over, and it is such an awesome time. You're sitting in front of a giant volcano, you have the sun beating down on you. One thing that is very important that I do need to reiterate is you cannot be checked in to multiple rides at the same time. Once you are scanned in with your Tapu Tapu, that ride is your only ride that you are waiting for. So if you decide that you want to go ride 3 or 4 different rides that all have wait times, you need to choose one of them. The other ones you're going to have to line up for a later time, or again, hope that they go on the ride now.
So in the Florida heat, you definitely want to use a sunscreen. We just use like a 15 SPF, which probably isn't the best, but it is still some protection while helping us get that beautiful tan. But even at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the UV is still really high. So do a little something to protect your skin, or you're gonna be red and in pain the rest of your trip here.
We cannot express how important sunscreen is here in the Florida heat. Florida is known to have some brutally hot summer, so if you are here during the summer especially, you definitely need to be putting on some sunscreen of some sort. Also, you need to be reapplying. You need to have some sort of protection throughout the day because you will get burnt. I see people all the time, they are pink and red as a lobster, and they are just having their vacation ruined because they didn't want to wear any sunscreen because they wanted to get a nice little golden brown. Well, instead, you are now a fried red tomato. So make sure to stay protected out here in the heat. Now, when it comes to the rides and attractions here, everybody will tell you to do the Krakatoa Aqua Coaster, and obviously for good reason, it is a very fun ride. But they have so many great attractions here. I wouldn't just limit yourself to that, and I wouldn't just do 1 or 2 other rides. I would try and do as many as you can. And obviously, it does get a little hard if you don't show up right first thing in the morning. That is a big tip. If you have the ability to, show up as early as possible because there's just a lot to do here. Sometimes I wonder if you could do everything in one day, and you might be able to, but your best odds are to get here as early as possible to make sure that you could go ahead and get on as many attractions as you can. Because again, there are so many rides here, it's kind of hard to do if you only come here for maybe half a day. Now, again, the Aqua Coaster is a great coaster, or water slide, however you want to identify it, but they have so many different slides. They have body slides all the way from the one that drops out of the volcano and you drop down multiple stories going super fast. It is over in the blink of an eye, but it is intense. You have everything from like small little raft rides too. You could do a little 2-seater, you could do the big 4-seaters. It all just depends on what you're looking for. There are so many different rides here, and I highly recommend just taking a few laps around the park, just riding what you can, and definitely, like I said, getting here as early as possible so you can go ahead and do those attractions. Now here at Volcano Bay, there are kind of a number of options that you can kind of add on to your experience. One of them being premium seating, which is just kind of a little bit more of an upgraded seating experience. You get your own little station there, and it is kind of a little bit more secluded, if you will. You have your cabanas, obviously. Like I said, we did an entire video on that. Highly recommend checking that out if you guys haven't yet. You can also rent towels if you guys don't bring your own, but again, you can bring your own towels here, so I would highly recommend doing so unless you don't want to have the worry of taking your own towels in and out of the park or whatever it might be. Renting a towel is something that you definitely can do. And then finally, you can buy Express here. Now, Express, I think, would be a great option if you're only coming for one time, and maybe one time only. Making sure that you have Express so you can do everything that you would ultimately like to do is something that I would highly recommend. But again, it isn't totally necessary. You can definitely plan your day, and one of the big ways to do so is, again, getting here early, like I already mentioned earlier. But either way, those are some of your additions that you can do here at Volcano Bay. Okay, so you checked into a ride, you tapped your Tapu Tapu into your favorite aqua coaster, and you decide, now we're gonna wait to ride this thing, but it's 200+ minutes. Now you say, well, what do I do until then? So one thing you can do is go ahead and join the lazy river. Just go hang out at the river. You can go up by the volcano and just enjoy the waves. One of my favorite things to do is ride the Fearless River, just because that thing is super intense, nothing like it. Absolutely love it. It is, I don't even know. You just have to experience it to understand why it is called the Fearless River. But another thing you can do that a lot of people don't realize, you could do ride now rides. Now anything that says ride now, you actually can just go ahead and scan right in without overriding your current selection on your Tapu Tapu. Now a lot of people get concerned because you will have to tap in to actually go on the ride, but that is just how the system works. So it's not going to override your current Tapu Tapu selection, just so you understand that. And a lot of people get worried. They say, oh, well, I'm already checked in, I'm gonna override by checking into this ride. And that isn't the case. You can actually just walk right up, they'll scan you you in and you just continue right on, and you'll keep your position in your other line. You actually don't even have to scan into these out here. It'll actually just direct you right onto the ride. But one thing I do want to point out is a lot of the Ride Now rides do tend to have a little bit of a wait. I do find them to be about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the time of the year. Now, I don't know if that's just because they are oftentimes right now. They really don't have a queue very often, but it is just something to keep in mind. So if you see Ride Now, don't expect that you are literally riding right now. It just means you can go ahead and get in line right now. Now, some rides are a little quicker than others, I will say that. Some rides tend to be about 30 to 45 minutes, like I said, maybe even longer, just depends. But the Ride Now is letting you come into the line now, is what they really should call it, is line now. But either way, just so you understand, the Ride Now options are something that you can do while you have a ride queued up in your Tapu Tapu. I know that is a little confusing for some people, but hopefully that clears it up. No issues overriding your ride. Only on rides that have a wait time will it actually override, and you have to select to basically switch like we showed you earlier. Now, after you've been at the water park for quite a while, maybe you get hungry, and that would be my next tip, is to utilize mobile ordering, and in general, just have some of the food around here. There are a lot of restaurants and some nice bars here as well, but I would highly recommend utilizing the mobile order. Now, we actually went ahead and ordered right behind us. There's a little hut here, and we went ahead and tried the coconut curry chicken. Now, this is something I've never tried. I figured, why not try this? It seemed kind of interesting, so we'll try something new for you guys here today, but I highly recommend, like I said, checking out the mobile order and go ahead and try something like that. And also right now, pass holders get 25% on mobile orders. It is an incentive to mobile order instead of just going up to the window.
That's actually really good. That's not bad. 100% judged it way too soon. It's almost like a little basil-y, a little pesto-y. The chicken, I think, is like a thigh, so it's a dark meat, which I like, and it's juicy. That's actually pretty good. I was way too harsh on it.
I actually really like that dish. I think there's a little bit of sweetness from the coconut in there that you can get, and then it's got a nice little kind of saltiness to it, a little bit of spice on top of it, so it kind of brings it all together. I'm not a huge fan of dark meat personally, but I do think this has a lot of flavor, and I would highly recommend this. Now, I'm not a huge fan of like the fried plantains that they offer you. I think I would offer to get something else if possible, but I'll be okay with it. I always try them, and I'm like, maybe I'll like them this time, and I never do. While we were eating, we actually just got called back for our return time for the Oh No water slide. So as soon as we finish up here, we can head right on over. Another thing I want to point out is as soon as you get called for one of your rides, anytime after that, you're okay to go back. There's not like a time limit for it, so you can go return anytime. So if you're eating or doing whatever, feel free to finish that up and then head on over when you can. Now, if you like a good drink, I would highly recommend coming over here to the Dancing Dragon. This is one of the few bars that they do have here, and they have some really fun cocktails and drinks that you can go ahead and get that are specific here to Volcano Bay, which I think is one of my favorite things, is when a park themes food items and drinks to the actual park that they are in. I think it's so much fun, and the seating is actually pretty cool. Let me show you what that looks like too. Now you can sit right here at this countertop, drinking a nice, beautiful drink, checking out the vibes, and just hanging out here at Volcano Bay. This is the spot of all spots. Now, a lot of people do know about it, so I do feel like you gotta get here kind of early or wait for a spot here to open up. But this is what you are looking for. The sun is out, volcano's going, people are having a great time in the water, and you are sipping on a beautiful drink and just enjoying your time. Such a different feeling. Something else I definitely recommend is checking out the Rituri Marketplace. They sell some really fun stuff in here, specifically some Volcano Bay merch, which is always great. Also, if you do end up forgetting any of your sunscreen, any toys, anything like that, even towels, you can come up and pick over here. But again, they have some really fun merchandise like these hats. And I mean, how could you not just love their merchandise, right? Doesn't that feel great?
It's very comfortable.
Oh, what's that bag under there?
I think it's to protect it, keep it fresh.
Ah, okay. You can even get some sunglasses over here. Again, you have some fun merch, like a nice little tank top here. Very soft, by the way. You have headbands, little like coaster koozie things.
Oh my gosh, look, it's a little holder for a Stanley.
And you have like a little like snack portion or something up front, maybe a wallet. You also have bathing suits for whatever reason. If you were coming to the water park and you forgot your bathing suit, you can pick up a bathing suit. How nice is that?
And the most important tip that we can give you is to have fun and enjoy your day here at Volcano Bay. Check out all of the rides, try something new, do the rivers, explore everything, and have fun while doing it.
That is the most important thing. You are here having a good time at Volcano Bay. Don't get stressed out. Take it how you want. hang out by this thing that's chatting with you. Go grab some lunch, grab some treats, hang out by the pool, do whatever you want to do. There is so much to explore here, and honestly, you can't go wrong with a day here at Volcano Bay. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Hopefully these were some fun tips and tricks for you, and your next vacation here to Volcano Bay turns out to be amazing. If you did enjoy today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.